Hello, hello, we got another one for you today. This one is one I've done before. We're doing the Gym Corvette booster. But this time I got a really good round with it. So we're going to do it again. And we're going to do a lot better with it than I did before. So I'm really excited to show you guys. So like I was saying, the first time I showed it up, I was probably saying the first time I showed it off, it can be tricky to use, but it can do some really good stuff if you can get a good flow with it. And here we're actually going to show that off, so I'm pretty excited to do that. So we're going to, of course, lead with those big missiles. Those big missiles are your hardest hitting weapon. If you can get them to land reliably, which was not that, of course, but if you can, that's going to be your leading damage. So other than that, it is those small missile pods that I keep switching to, those right there. We're unfortunately not doing much right now, but that will amp up as things go on. You can see here we're dropping in. We didn't get a lot of hits with that. I think we're pretty much probably down to that rifle. It has good range on it, and it stuns relatively quickly. Yeah, you can see there it's got fantastic range on it. It's accurate, and it stuns decently well. So it's a great way to get chip damage, or to just, like, to finish off a weakened opponent, or just to get some sort of continuous damage on targets. Plus it doesn't stun allies, so that's good too. But we're gonna... Oh, that... So we did hit with that, but it, you know, it jumped a little bit, so we didn't get to see that hit, unfortunately. We are going to show off that tracking right there with the missiles just a little bit. Hopefully you guys caught that. Switching to the big missiles again, we are going to do what it does best. We're going to go for an attempted strafing run right here, which he got stunned right into position I needed. Get knocked over by an ally. Honestly, no big deal in this context. We dropped our damage, we did what we needed to do, and he was able to finish off the opponent. So, no issues with that. Again, we're showing off a little bit of that tracking. We are going to launch, and you can see the damage that builds. If you can manage to get those hits off, you can see just the incredible amounts of damage that can deal. But we're going back into the air. We've got our big missiles set up once again. We are probably... Yeah, here we go. We're going to go in for another strafing run, which is going to be semi-successful. Looks like we got one of those hits. It's better than nothing. Now we're down to just those missiles. So long as we don't get shot before we get a chance, we should be able to get a couple hits off with them. Yeah, not like crazy high damage, but it's something. It's a little bit of extra damage. We got a guy jump in front of us, unfortunately, so that didn't hit where I wanted it. And now we gotta wait for those to reset. The nice thing about those missiles, too, is you can see them externally. So there we go. We can see when they come back. Again, we had a guy step in front of us. I was getting a little bit annoyed at that point, but that's one thing you do have to watch out for, because they are fairly chunky. They'll hit allies, and they will stun them, so you got to be careful with those rockets. You can see, though, they do have the range to hit at those sort of distances, but they are slower moving. You do have to lead them a little bit more. Probably a good idea. That one doesn't have the range there, but luckily we got some other weapons ready, and he walked into them. So we got a little bit of extra damage on that. Can't tell if only one or two of them hit, because we dropped as well, but we at least got one to hit, which is still good damage. Unfortunately, it was a little trickier to do stuff there, because we didn't have a lot of support anymore. Everyone kind of filtered off, and it was a big cluster of enemies, so it's harder to charge in those situations. But hopefully we're all gonna... Yeah, we can see we're all starting to get readied up now. We're all gonna try and spawn in together and do one nice big old push on the opponents. We just have to wait for those two guys to have their mobile suits readied up, and then we can do that push. So we got 3 seconds left on that. And we're gonna spawn in. Yeah, there we go. So we're gonna spawn in. We're gonna look for our first target. Looks like we're leading with the tracking rockets instead this time. Yeah, there you go. something that is more reliable to land, but we've got a cluster there, and you can see we hit, I think that was 3 of them that just hit there. Stacking up those hits. They're kind of keeping behind cover. Smart on their part. Luckily, we got our rockets back, and he put himself in a bad spot because he used his anchor and missed. We were able to pretty easily wipe him out with a couple of those rockets there, and we can see the range on that main rifle again coming into play. That is genuinely incredible, just the distance it has. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people have had issues with this, trying to be a little bit too forward with it. It wants to do strafing runs, it wants to do stuff like that, and it's definitely got close range skills. It's not like useless in close range, right? But it's bulky, it makes it easy to hit. Like, it's got a great downswing. We should show them off at least once here. But those missiles just do a lot of damage. I, like, never use that one either. Yeah, we're kind of waiting for stuff to ready up so that we can move in. Got a kill there with the big missiles. The best missiles. I think that was an enemy raid to... sorry, general... Support. Support. The one other. So the ideal target. But we're going to chase this guy down. We are going to attempt to finish him off down underground, down where I can't utilize my flying stuff as much. And we get to show off that downswing. Now, I probably have melee parts on this thing. I usually do. But you can see it still does decent melee damage. But we're going to move up here to where the enemy support is getting back into his mobile suit. So he's going to have a bad day. This is unfortunate for him, really. Just was unlucky to have me right there when he spawned. And his backup couldn't get there fast enough to do much of anything. So, his backup's going to try and get me here. We did get a stun off there, which is, I would imagine, why he didn't follow up with the anchor. We can once again see how decent that downswing is. Looks like, yeah, we're dead here. Looks like we had 3 of them right there, including the guy I was fighting. The best thing to do there would have been to probably leave, and that didn't end up happening. So, unfortunate, but that is what happens. We got the whole team in force here, though. So, once we're ready to spawn back in, we have the spawn. I think I bumped... I think that was me bumping the signals there, and I believe I got terrified because I bumped it and had support me as the first thing there, and the last thing I wanted to do was sound like I'm angry spamming tells. That was a horrible strafing run there. They just walked right around it. So I'm understandably just going to leave. But hey, good news is that's the enemy support, so that's a prime target. If I can, you know, actually hit him. Looks like we got one of the missiles to hit, at least. We got a little bit of curving going on with the missiles that track. Unfortunately, he finally hit with that anchor, so he got his heavy stagger off. I believe we are going to... We're just going to fly over everyone, move right in on the enemy support, and not manage to pull it off. They knocked me out of the air too quick. So, good on them, at least, but I wanted that kill. Probably should have led with the big rockets there, honestly. That probably would have done it. But yeah, we got a lot of people shooting at us today, but we made up a good skill bracket, and as you can see here, we hurt the things. We did damage to things. And it's primarily those big missiles that do all that damage. It's great. Yeah, definitely a suit that, I don't think it's bad at all, but it's tricky. Everyone's gonna want to kill you. Everyone can see you, so it's just a little tricky. But yeah, it's a great suit. I recommend spending some time with it. If you have it and haven't spent some time with it, do so. Mess around with it. Try to get good at landing those missiles, because it's a lot of fun when you do. The payoff for landing a good salvo, and again, swooping in like that with those dive bombing runs, it's very satisfying. But that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time.